Listen, guys, 5 days, we promise you this will change your life. I've spent 27 years helping people transform at the cellular level. This is your time. If you've been praying for an answer, here's the answer to your prayer. So take an action step. Join us on this 555 challenge.
The man you just heard from is John Jubilee. He is the founder of Energized Health. His message on this 5th day of May, show up for 5 days and start changing your life. John is here to explain how it all works. Good to see you, my friend. Good morning.
Great to see you, Terrence. Good morning.
All right,
and I'm excited for people. Let's go.
No, go ahead. You were going to say, because we've talked in the past about the 555 challenge, and you've got another one coming up.
I do, Terrence. And hey, guys, come on. Who doesn't want to lose one of these? You know what that is? That is 5 pounds. That's 5 pounds of fat right there. And in just 5 days, you can get rid of 5 pounds of fat. No liposuction, no crazy diet, no crazy exercise, no running, no sit-ups, no heavy breathing. Come and spend 5 days with Chelsea and I. Let us share with you what has helped tens of thousands of people for 28 years. Terrence, this is the fountain of youth. This is how people can really get healthy. And again, guys, it's $5. It's $5. It's less than the price of a cup of Starbucks coffee.
No, absolutely. And we talk all the time about how just starting the process can be the most challenging. People, and your encouragement today is just sign up. Start today, sign up. You've got a couple of weeks to get your mind wrapped around it, but at least start the process by signing up today.
Yeah, look, guys, just go sign up today. It's my555challenge.com. Just invest $5 in yourself. You're going to start getting some information immediately. Let me ask you guys a question. Do you know what the 5 things are you should never do to never fail again? 5 things to never do again, to never fail again. Just that would be worth $5, right? And how have we learned that? We've learned it from tens of thousands of people that failed over 28 years. Guys, learn the 5 things you need to never do to never fail again. Just go sign up on the my555challenge.com and let's learn what not to do. And oh, by the way, we'll share with you what to do so that you can have success. And look, 28 years, not one medical doctor visit. I lost a big belly. I lost 10 inches in my belly 28 years ago. I've kept it off for 28 years. Who would say that's sustainable? How many of you guys would like to do that? Joint pain, gone, guys. I was bone on bone in both my knees. How many out there have joint pain? Listen, I want you to have your best health. I want you to have success and not be frustrated anymore. And this is your ticket. This is your answer to have that.
What do you say to people who are listening to this right now and asking, well, how can showing up for 5 days in a row tip the balance for someone like me when it comes to reaching our new health goal? How can 5 days really be the change?
Well, I'll tell you exactly how, Terrence. You know what? In the Word of God, it said, my people perish for lack of knowledge. In 5 days, you're going to have the knowledge to know what not to do and to know what to do. This will be transformational for you. We have the only 3 patents in the world of intracellular hydration, how to get healthy at the cellular level. And when you learn this knowledge, you can have what tens of thousands of others have. They lost their fat, they gained their muscle, they lost their joint pain, their energy went through the roof. And you can have it too, because 5 days is 5 days of knowledge imparted from experiential learning of tens of thousands.
All right. So once again, really quickly, 20 seconds, people want to sign up today. How can they do it?
Guys, it's simple. My555challenge.com, my555challenge.com. Hey, you need to learn the 5 things to never do, to never fail again. My555challenge.com. Transformational. Let's go, guys.
John Jubilee, we appreciate your time, my friend.
live from Studio G. We're ready to kick off another brand new hour here of the Steve Gruber Show, and another brand new day, another brand new free-for-all Friday. Well, it's good to see you here. Of course, that means that we'll be taking your calls. But remember, the Steve Gruber Show can often have a trigger effect. American pride and enthusiasm can be uncontrollable after being here for a few minutes. Keep that in mind. All right, we're kicking off the live broadcast on Real America's Voice and MTN to a global audience. It's growing every day thanks to you. Here are the three big things you need to know. Number one, has the O'Keefe Media Group gotten a smoking gun confession on one of the biggest names in the Jeffrey Epstein underage child sex ring scandal? Well, sure looks that way. Number two, a remarkable revelation. More than 200 people get arrested for being involved in a child porn ring. Yes, they have. And number three, it is Free for All Friday. Glad to have you here on a Free for All Friday. The phone number, powered by Patriot Mobile, 877-310-9966. 877-310-9966 is the number for you to get on the line and be somebody. Of course, we have a brand new pope today. He's from Chicago. Indications are mixed, except to say he appears to likely be another progressive in the mold of the late Pope Francis, another open border anti-Trump pope. Are you surprised? We'll see how it plays out, but that's the way it looks to begin with. Catholics celebrating globally. Again, the Patriot Mobile Common Sense Hotline is open for business, 877-310-9966. Anywhere in America, anywhere in the world if you want to dial in. But first, there's some humor from President Trump. Listen.
And the Democrats are fighting it only because they want to fight. They have Trump derangement syndrome. You know, if it was somebody else, they wouldn't fight. If you had a normal person, if you had some stiff sitting behind you, they'd be fine. But they have Trump derangement syndrome. You know, Senator Schumer's become a Palestinian. He's welcome. I don't know when they're going to give him the ceremony, whatever the ceremony may be. But it's terrible what's happened to the Democrats.
Donald Trump doing one-liners there in the Oval, having a good time doing it. The British ambassador, they're laughing. That was because they were on the phone with the UK putting together the trade deal. Good news, right? Good news. All right, let's get to the phone lines today. Again, 877-310-9966. That's the Patriot Mobile Common Sense Hotline looking for you today. James in Louisiana is first. James, how are you today?
I'm doing fine, sir. How are you?
I am well, and it's Friday, and so therefore it's good. It's spring. I feel good about it. What's on your mind?
All right, sir. You talking about Mike Johnson, all that stuff. We need to relax a little bit, but Mike Johnson, I can't relax so much. He seems to me like he's slow rolling everything, and I just don't have any really confidence in him. 4-day weeks. I wish I could work 4-day weeks all my life, like they're trying to do. And I think they need to change myself personally. And Pete, I think Pete's doing a dynamite job. I'm a retired Marine guy, so I think Pete's doing a damn good job, sir. I'm sorry.
Pete Hegseth. Pete Hegseth, Simplified. Right. Thank you, James. Greatly appreciate you. Look, James is echoing the sentiments of a whole lot of folks. Impatience, especially when it comes to Mike Johnson, especially when it comes to the House working 4-day weeks, if they work that much. It's true. 4-day work weeks, if they work that much. I mean, they have more vacation time than, well, no, I guess not more than Joe Biden, but almost as much as Joe Biden used to have, right? It's a concern. But look, I'm going to say, let's stay with the process. I talked about it this week. He's been listening, obviously. I said, let's be patient. But I'm also saying be patient with Kash Patel and Pam Bondi and all the other members of the administration that are just getting, dug in to get some work done for you, the American people. The Transportation Secretary has a lot of work to do. The Secretary of Defense has a lot of work to do. There's no question about a lot of things that have to happen. All right, just to the south of where I am, I find the state of Indiana, and that's where Ed is today. Ed, what's on your mind?
Good morning. Well, I think Trump has got two major problems with a peace deal. And one is our history. You go back to our treaties with the Indians, and the best ones were only good as long as the person was in power, and the worst ones were for political expediency. The second problem he's got is I used the analogy, you take your big friend to a bar, and then you pick a bar fight, and you expect him to fight for you. We've got the European elites that want this war and continue
you're referring to the war in Ukraine, I assume. I assume you're talking of the war in Ukraine.
Yes, the war in Ukraine. You got the European elites that want this war and then we got our more warmongers in Congress here that wants this war, and then you look at somebody that's. I think
can he get the war stopped? Donald Trump said he'd get the war stopped on day one. Of course, that didn't happen. It was kind of hyperbole. But do you think he can get the war stopped in the next few weeks? They're meeting and talking again. Apparently.
The only way you can stop the war is all funding for the war, all funding for rebuilding, put a prohibition on our hedge fund people that they can't use retirement money for rebuilding unfriendly countries or corrupt countries like.
I think you've got a lot of reasonable questions. I appreciate the phone call. Here's what. Here's a concern that we have there. The war continues, right? The war continues. And here's the thing that I have. Where is this deal that we apparently signed with Ukraine? Ad posed a lot of important concerns that a lot of us have. Dumping more and more money in, being involved in a war that the warmongers on Capitol Hill want and we don't. But where's the deal that we allegedly signed on rare earth elements? Has anybody seen it? They claim we signed it, but usually if you see a claim that this document's been put together and executed and signed by the United States, signed by whom? And with what provisions? And when does it take effect? And what are the details? I feel like we're being sold a bit of a bill of goods there. What was signed as far as the Ukrainian-American rare earth elements deal? I want more details, a lot more details. Tom is in the great state of Michigan. Lovely place, by the way. Tom, what's on your mind?
Well, I'm real happy that we got Pete Hegseth. I was in the Navy when Ronald Reagan took over, and when Ronald Reagan took over, we went from not saluting officers to saluting instantly, and everything changed. And that's what Pete's doing to the military. He's bringing it back to the way it should be.
Wait a second. Hold on. You tell me when Jimmy Carter was president, people didn't salute their superior officers? Come on now.
That's right. I was in VXE6. We went to Antarctica, and things were a little lax when I got there for 2 years. I was there for 2 years under Jimmy Carter, and then Ronald Reagan took over, and it changed instantly.
All right, let me ask you one last thing, Tom. Transgenders are out under Pete Hegseth. How do you feel about that?
I am so happy for the military. They can get back to fighting and quit worrying about all that crap and get them all out.
Take your pronouns and get out of here. All right. Tom, greatly appreciate it. Thank you for the phone call. Still to come. I've got Paul, Kevin, Chris, Jim, Tim, all over America, from Louisiana to Philly and everything in between. I'll be right back. It's Free for All Friday on the Steve Gruber Show. To it now on a free-for-all Friday driven by Patriot Mobile's Common Sense Hotline and fired up by 1775 coffee. People ask you, what coffee you drink? 1775 coffee. This is great Bolivian coffee. 100% pure Arabica beans. It's what we drink around here. I like it. I'm kind of a coffee snob. And so there you have it. Let's get back. By the way, 1775coffee.com. You can get some for yourself. It's not weak. It's not corporate. It's bold and loud, just like this program, all right? You're going to love this coffee, 1775 coffee. Promo code's Gruber. All right, Paul, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He's on the line. Paul, how are you? What is happening in Pittsburgh?
Good morning, Steve. How's everything in Michigan there?
It's lovely. Spring has finally come. It's a beautiful time of the year. I love it. Everything is in bloom. The mushrooms are out. The walleye are biting. Life is pretty good. What's on your mind?
That's great. That's great. Not surprising that we have more of a progressive pope. Disappointed, of course. We're going to see much more of the same, if not more of it. As a Catholic, I can't help that this guy is definitely anti-MAGA, anti-Trump, anti-everything. No.
He's for some things. He's for an open border, from what I read. There is that. Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe I'm getting misinformation.
No, I said he's for an open border. He's for things that we don't want. Anyhow, go ahead, Paul.
Well, yeah, I know he's a little tougher on homosexuality, which I'm hoping with Francis wasn't. He seemed to kind of like, but it just time won't tell. But I just think we're going to still see a lot of liberalism, and the fact that everybody's so excited he's from the United States. It doesn't matter to me if they don't, follow the rules of the church. It's like, what does it matter? Especially Francis, kissing the butt of Obama and Biden and those things. There were too many of those around yet. That it was bound to happen that we're going to still get somewhat a common copy of Francis.
Yeah, which is what we got. Greatly appreciate the call, Paul. Thank you for checking in. We're going to go to the other side of the state, from Pittsburgh to Philly. That's where Kevin is. Kevin, what's on your mind?
Yes. Good morning, Mr. Gruber. How are you, sir?
I am well. Thank you for asking. How can I help?
I'm calling in for two reasons. The first point is the legacy media and the TDS that they display is just, it's palatable. It's particularly Bloomberg and the asset people, that every move that Trump makes, they have to analyze, dissect, give you the opinion that you're supposed to be taking from it, and you're supposed to rage on from that and worry. And it's been driving the markets. It's been driving the markets down, but I'm glad to see finally that Trump's pushing through and punching through with these deals, and they every day you turn on Bloomberg, it's just a rewrite of whatever Trump's point is. to the opposite. And like the legacy media. And it's some days it's just hard to take.
You know, the other one, and I appreciate you're exactly right about that, Kevin. The other one, and Trump called him out this week, the Wall Street Journal. Well, what has happened to the Wall Street Journal? They've joined their friends at the New York Times and the Washington Post, apparently. It's insane.
And in the Atlantic.
And the Atlantic and all the rest. You're right. Kevin, greatly appreciate the call. Look, the future is looking good today. It says greed is driving the market, which means the market will be up today. It's at 41,500. Pretty close to where it was when the sell-offs came back in April. So all in all, pretty good place for the markets to be. Let me check your other indicators today. The New York Times actually had a headline today. Everything indicates a recession except the data. That's a headline today. Everything indicates a recession except the data, meaning the numbers don't lie, but the New York Times does. That's what it's a strange headline, but it's on their paper today. By the way, gas down again today, 3.14 is the national average. It's down a penny from yesterday, a few cents from a week ago, a dime from a month ago, and more than 50 cents from a year ago. So gas is in a good place, and so are we. Chris in Michigan, he's next. Chris, how are you?
Good. How are yourself, Steve? Hey, I don't want to tie up your lines, but I'll make this quick because I think it's important. Is promises made, promises kept, and that was both Donald J. Trump and Elon Musk. So, Elon, when are we going to see the audit at Fort Knox and the Federal Reserve banks for the alleged gold bullion we have? And when can they do like a remote test with a pistol to the device? Because did you know that gold and tungsten are basically identical in weight? So you could have that room full of tungsten bars at $20, I think $20 an ounce versus $3,000 an ounce.
Yeah, gold, almost
gold plated. And who's going to know the difference?
Yeah.
So when do we get to see that?
You know, that'd be a good thing. Gold at this moment, $3,329 an ounce. Thanks for the call, Chris. I don't think we're ever going to see it because this gets clamored about during every administration, and they never get to it. We have not seen inside Fort Knox since 1974 that I'm aware of. 1974, the last time anybody was let in there. Don't hold your breath on that one, because should we? Sure we should. Are we going to? Jim is in New York. Jim, welcome to the program. What's on your mind?
Good morning, Steve. Thank you for taking my call.
Of course.
I just wanted to ask your help maybe to check into, I heard New York State is going to pay for Letitia James'
they snuck that into
criminal
the
bill here.
So anyway,
Isn't that sweet?
Let me get the story here. There's a budget that went through, and somewhere buried back in the budget bill, the New York Post revealed yesterday that all the legal defense of Tish James will be taken care of by the taxpayers of New York. Congratulations, Jim. Go on real quick.
Yes, I just wanted to verify from you if that was true or not, because
I've read. Yeah, that's what I've read.
And it is true.
It is true. According to the New York Post article I read yesterday, it's true that the state of New York, in your budget, you buried the expense of legal fees for Tish James in your bill. Congratulations, New York. You get to pay for a criminal. I'll take a break. It's the Steve Gruber Show. We do appreciate the interaction. I do. I do this in the, I don't know, I guess out of respect for Rush Limbaugh in a way. He had open line Fridays. We have free for all Friday. Taking your calls. I mean, how else are you going to know what's going on in the world and with you guys unless I ask and say, hey, what's up with everybody? What are you thinking? Yeah, you know, the Tish James thing is outrageous. And I appreciate him calling. Is that what you've heard? That's what I've read from the New York Post. I can't believe that. To Cajun country we go. Tim in Louisiana today. Tim, what's on your mind?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good.
Good morning.
Good morning, friend.
Listen, the Columbia students that got arrested, they need to put the pictures of the mugshot of every one of their faces to make sure that to tell everybody that's the Democrat Party you're looking at.
Make them famous. Well, make them famous for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, they all show up with their masks on and do this and that, but when they get arrested, the masks come off and the handcuffs go on.
Right.
Make them all famous. I agree with you, Tim. Maybe that'll prevent some of these other idiots from pulling the same stunt like they did at Brooklyn College yesterday. But stupidity knows no bounds.
That's right.
That's right. All right, grateful for the call, my friend. Thank you for being on with us in Louisiana. We can get one more call in. Olin, South Carolina. You're going to wrap us out of this section. How are you?
Good morning, Steve. You and Ivy.
Thank you.
Two things, Steve. If Trump wants to start the war in Ukraine, he needs to tell Zelensky not another bullet or a dime, and he needs to put the screws to Russia's economy and cripple their economy.
I think that's true, but we've already done that. That's why there were no tariffs put on Russia, because there was no point. The sanctions are so tough.
Zelensky didn't sign the rare earth deal. One of his people in his cabinet signed it.
Yeah, do we know? You know, where is that deal? Don't you kind of want to see it?
That's what I'm saying. It hadn't been showed.
Yeah. Why? That seems kind of weird to me. Why? That should be right out front page. Here's our deal. Let me show it to you. Here's what we got out of it. Here's how long it lasts. Here's why it's a good deal. Didn't get any of that. Olin, thank you for the call. Good stuff. Still to come, Steve and Ken, John, and so many more. Free for all Friday on the Steve Gruber Show. I'll be right back. diving back into it on a free-for-all Friday. Excuse me, taking calls from you all over America. You can be part of this. Join us here in Studio G, the Foxhole of Freedom, looking for you to join us here. And we've got Steve in Idaho. Steve, how are you today?
Top of the morning to you.
Top of the morning to you, my friend. You're up early out there in the great state of Idaho. Great trout fishing, great elk hunting, great piece of real estate. Go ahead. What's on your mind?
Just great people out here, and we're behind you.
Well, appreciate that.
Your show is becoming more and more popular out here.
Good.
I just want to give a shout out to this Jasmine Crockett. She comes off like she's a real person, with her fake fingernails and her fake eyelashes and everything else. You know, if I had to say one thing to her, I'd say don't let your bad taste exceed your bad manners, or vice versa. And that's how I'm out of here.
That's it. I greatly appreciate that, Stephen. I applaud Jasmine Crockett. I want her to be out there more. I want to hear from her more often. Yeah. Real prize for the Democrats that keeps on giving Jasmine Crockett. Nathan, set aside bite 6. We might come back to her in case we need some comic relief. All right, John is in California today. John, I appreciate you waiting. You're up early as well, sir. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, how you doing, Steve? Good morning.
Lovely.
Yeah, hey, I have an issue with the voter ID stuff is still going crazy, because in California, I don't believe it's as blue as it is, because, a couple different things. I finally learned what some of the crap that the Democrats were doing as far as cheating, and now I think they spread it across the nation. So voter ID would take care of that problem if we can get the Republicans to go along with it.
To get it done.
And I think President Trump has to play hardball with them.
Look, you have to have real ID now.
Threatened investigations, whatever.
I agree with you, John. Look, you have to have real ID as of the 7th of May, a couple days ago. To get on an airplane, to fly domestically, you have to have an enhanced piece of identification called real ID. Why wouldn't you have real ID to cast a ballot? What's more important for the future of this country, riding on an airplane or voting? I think real ID is a great idea for real security in our elections. I appreciate it. Let me ask you, John, are you still there? I want to ask you one more thing.
No, he's gone.
Okay, we missed it. All right, thank you, Brock. Because I heard something yesterday, and we're going to be sharing it here on the program. The state of California is going to use eminent domain laws to seize the beaches of Malibu post fires and big chunks of land as well. They're going to seize the beaches of Malibu, give the property owners, a few cents on the dollar, and seize it for themselves to develop or to leave open or to do whatever. The state of California has done it before. They're going to do it again. It's going to happen in Malibu. I told you from day one they were never going to rebuild there. They're never going to rebuild those cities that were burned down. Alameda and Pacific Palisades, never being rebuilt. Not the way they were, not single-family homes. There'll be high-rise apartments and condos. You watch so California can cash in. From California to Florida, Gary is in Florida. Gary, welcome to the program.
Hi, Steve. I have a question. Is there any way that President Trump can make news media responsible for what they say? I remember something about Obama said something or came up with something where they're not responsible for what they say.
Well, he was not responsible for what he said oftentimes. What do you mean by that? Be specific, Gary. The media is not responsible. They've been irresponsible a number of times.
With the most blatant lies. They come out and they slam and they smear the president and everything else, and it's not true.
Yeah.
So why are they allowed to continue doing this?
That, Donald Trump has already won some lawsuits in that regard. His lawsuit against 60 Minutes goes forward. His lawsuit against others goes forward. Donald Trump is winning. I think he's got a lawsuit pending against CNN. I have to go. He won one for $20 million. And he's going to win others that are bigger
good to
because
hear.
of the lies that have been told, right? This is significant. But you know what's really embarrassing, and I really appreciate the phone call, Gary. What's really embarrassing is that the folks at the New York Times and the Washington Post hold on to their Pulitzer Prizes for the fake news story, for the Russia collusion story that somehow Donald Trump was involved with the Russians. Completely false. A narrative bought and paid for by Hillary Clinton, and prizes awarded based on that. Let's go to Steve. He's in Illinois today. Steve, you're up fairly early. How are you? What's on your mind?
Nobody ever talks about this, and as far as I know, wasn't it Tyson's chicken plant that got rid of all Americans and hired a bunch of illegal immigrants?
Didn't they close a plant in Iowa, right? Didn't they close their plant in Iowa that had been there for generations? I think that's right. And then they moved a plant and brought in a bunch of, now I'm not going to say illegal aliens, but they brought in foreign workers to work at the plant. I believe there's a lot of truth to that. Go on.
And nobody ever talks about it.
You and I just did, which is a good thing. See, that's why we do this Free for All Friday. Important topics like that. Look, there's so much going on, Steve, as you know, that we lose track. Now, Illinois is right next door to Iowa, which means your neighbors got screwed on a deal that was just a little town. I don't remember. I'm going to look it up during the break. This little town, they closed the plant, which was basically it was the complete foundation of employment in that town. Destroyed the town, didn't it? Steve, thank you for bringing that back up.
But we also got J.B. Pritzker, so,
He eats a lot more than chicken. He's like he eats anything he wants. Yeah, anyhow, that's a different day. 2-ton JB. All right, we're going to go to Jennifer in Michigan. Yes, I'm picking on the fat guy, JB Pritzker. You darn right I am.
Good morning, Steve.
How are you?
There's really something wrong with the legislature in Michigan that they voted down voter ID. There's something wrong with these politicians here. We need to kick them out, get somebody that believes in America, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. I'm just damn sick and tired. Another thing, they don't need to spend their life in Washington. They need to go back home to their home state and start getting in touch with the rank and file people that vote every year. But they're afraid to meet us head on.
Amen.
They like to hide.
Amen.
Thank you, sir.
Jennifer
Bye-bye.
in Michigan, always a pleasure. She's always right. Again, real ID to fly on an airplane, but none to vote? Come on, people. Let's go to Daniel in the Peach State of Georgia. Daniel?
Nope. Daniel's gone. He just hung up. Rich in North Carolina.
How about Rich in North Carolina then? Thank you, Brock. Rich, how are you?
Steve, I'm doing great. And you?
I'm doing lovely. Thank you for asking. What's going on with you?
Hey, well, I want to thank you for being a flamethrower of truth. You, Steve Bannon, and the rest of the RAM people.
Thank you.
My day is listening to you guys. And again, I want to thank you for having those wonderful sponsors. Missy and you used my before and after pictures a couple weeks ago.
You're rich. You're rich, 140 pounds lighter, Rich from North Carolina. You're the celebrity Rich. Well done, Rich.
Yeah, that's it. But I want to remind you.
Sorry, I do apologize, my friend. You have to call back in or hold because, well, I'm up against a break. But Rich is a man who went to GruberHealth.com. He lost 140 pounds without using heavy drugs and chemicals. 140 pounds. GruberHealth.com. You can do it. things here. First of all, coming up this next weekend in Salt Lake City will be the Man in the Arena Tour. I'll be there. You can find out more at maninthearenatour.com. It's for men only, real men, husbands, fathers, business owners, community leaders who want to get their life put back together. A lot of guys find themselves out of balance a little bit. Their job's going well, but their marriage is a little rough. Or their marriage seems all right, but the business isn't doing right. So to get yourself all together, to get intense with Garrett White, you might have seen him yesterday on the program here. Garrett White, a friend, I'll be there. If you want to join me and Garrett White, you can go to maninthearenatour.com. Some pretty inexpensive options right up to being in the front row and everything in between. Love to see you there. And if you come, seek me out. Hey, Gruber, I see you're here. Boom, shake my hand. I'll shake your hand. I'll see you there. maninthearenatour.com. 7,000 men gathered together to do manly things. Manly. That's my word of the day. I'm going to go back with Rich here. Rich lost 140 pounds using My Pure Health Solutions. He's a guy who went to GruberHealth.com, was kind of a skeptic, and then, well, Rich was not a skeptic after that, was he? Rich, welcome back. I'm really glad to hear your story. Yes, we put your picture up here a week ago on the program, whatever it was. You are a remarkable story. Look, not everybody's going to lose 140 pounds, but I'm so proud of you, my friend. I am. If you follow this program, and I just had a listener send me a note, how long did that take? What did it cost? Look, just go to GruberHealth.com, get a free consultation. You can talk to Missy and the folks over there, and they'll get you hooked up. It worked for you in a way that I think blew your mind, didn't it?
Yes, it did, Steve. Missy and the crew are awesome. Everything they tell you is true. They customize a plan for you. God created us as unique individuals, and we've all been through different things. And they do a scan on your body, find out what needs to be repaired, and tailor you a plan that will help you, achieve your goals. And I couldn't be any happier with them.
Yeah, they get to it, and they get it done. So good for you, Rich, and I appreciate you calling in. I really do. You're an inspiration to people, and I appreciate that. GruberHealth.com if you want to be like Rich, who, by the way, he lost more weight than his wife weighs. She weighs about 130 pounds, he told us last time around. Rich, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. It's good to hear people have success, whatever it is, have success and feel good about it. All right, Sharon is in Ohio. She's been, by the way, the Common Sense Hotline brought to you by Patriot Mobile, so you can call in anywhere in America, 877-310-9966, 877-310-9966. Brock will take your phone calls if there are lines available and put you on the air here. This is my ode to Rush Limbaugh, saying thank you, Rush, for being a guy who broke trail for all of us. All right, Sharon in Ohio. Sharon, how are you in the great state of Ohio?
Hey, Steve, I'm doing great. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Hey, I am better known as Dobby the Elf, but hey, I just wanted to let you know, I don't know why we can't just use what God gave us as our ID, our thumbprint. I open my phone with it. I do a lot of things, they take your thumbprint when they arrest you. I don't know why we can't just have some machine that we just put our thumb on when we're going to vote that just tells people who we are, so they know exactly who's voting and whether or not you're able to vote in that precinct.
I like that idea.
I just don't get that.
That's simple. Look, they have little thumb scanners, all sorts. Like you said, that's how they do fingerprints. Now, I think the fingerprint, they don't have all that ink and stuff. They used to have. They have like a glass panel you put your hand on, right? It scans your hand, boom, says you
That's right, yep.
That's how it works
Like I
now.
say, you open your phone with it. Most people open their phone with their thumbprint, so why can't we just do that when we vote or get on an airplane for that matter? They know who you are that way. I mean, you can't tell me they don't have that kind of.
Of course they do. I mean, they can take a picture of my face and do biometrics of this dot, this. There's a scan of my face. I am who I am. Look at my eyes. My thumb's the same way. You're exactly right, Sharon. Seems like a pretty simple thing to do.
Absolutely.
Thank you
That's all I have to say to you today, sir. God bless you, and you have a great day.
God bless you, young lady. Thank you for calling in. Again, 877-310-9966. I've been looking at this, and I had this on my list for today, and I want to get to it because, Jasmine Crockett is the gift that keeps on giving. It's bite number 6 there, Nathan. Go ahead and tune that up for the folks, would you?
They try to act like, political violence, it's the Democrats and it's the liberals, and it's like, actually, I mean, I'm not going to say that like a left-leaning person cannot be violent, because that would be like crazy to say that somebody can't be, but baby, y'all got the white supremacists galore, okay? Like all of them. You got the Proud Boys. You got
little doses of Jasmine Crockett, just enough to make you know that she's still insane. All right. Harry is in North Carolina. Harry, how are you today?
I'm fine. I asked you a question about a month ago about Obama and the gold. Did you ever find out anything?
We don't know. We were having questions about Fort Knox again today as well. Where was it? What was refresh my memory? What was your question with Obama and the gold?
Yeah. What was my question?
Yeah, about gold.
There's gold missing.
Well, same question was asked today. I think they said that tungsten. Look, I don't know that. I appreciate the phone call. I don't know that we're ever going to get into Fort Knox. Don't know about that. Don't know if that's ever going to happen. Don't know if we're ever going to figure out if the gold was here, not here. Was it Obama? Was it Bush? Was it Clinton? Was it whoever? I don't think we're ever going to know. Let's see. Can we get Martine in? Martine, you can make a comment real quick from Georgia.
Yeah, Steve, I don't know if Jeff Courier got you a copy of my suit in the federal court. I filed it yesterday. I tried to send it to you, and I guess I don't have your right email. Maybe he doesn't either. How do we get this to you? Because I need help with this.
Here you go. You ready? Here's how you send me an email. Anybody listening. Info at SteveGruber.com. Info at SteveGruber.com. Send me an email, America. I'll read your, if you don't want to call on Free for All Friday, I'll read your letters on the air. I'll be right back. again. I want to get to Terry in Missouri. The Common Sense Hotline, 877-310-9966, powered by my good friends at Patriot.
How are you this morning?
How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm good. What's on your mind?
I want to see what your thoughts are on treason. Do we still prosecute for treason anymore in this country? Because just what the Biden administration and the Democrats have done with illegals entering our country, and some of them committing really heinous crimes. Is anybody getting prosecuted for treason anymore?
Well, no, because I'm going to go right to it. Article 3, Section 3 of the United States Constitution. This will answer it for you. It's a very narrow definition in America, at least at the federal level. And here it is. Treason against the United States shall consist only in levying war against them or in adhering to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort. No person shall be convicted of treason unless on the testimony of two witnesses to the same overt act or on confession in open court.
Well, that's really interesting. I'm surprised.
It's a very narrow definition, and you have to, but it could be argued, but it wouldn't be easy that you're levying war against America by having open borders, that you're giving aid and comfort to the enemy by allowing them to bring in fentanyl, but it's not an easy argument. There's your United States Constitution. Everybody should have one. That's why I enjoy my friends at Hillsdale College. Thank you for the call. Hillsdale, from time to time, will give away free pocket constitutions. You should get one. In the meantime, did you know that scammers can steal your house right up from under you? FBI calls it house stealing. They go in, they fill out some paper, they go down to the county, they present it. Suddenly, your title is no longer your title. And with that in their hand, they can take money out against your home's equity. They can steal you blind. HomeTitleLock.com is here to protect you. I use HomeTitleLock.com. I have for years. This is something that means that my title that I never look at and don't pay attention to is safe when I'm not paying attention. In this interconnected world, thieves are everywhere. They're teeming on the internet. Be careful. Get a free title history report and get your free TitleLock.com examination. It's worth $250. All you have to do is go to HomeTitleLock.com. Use the promo code Gruber. You can get started today, and then you can go on and get free peace of mind. HomeTitleLock.com, promo code Gruber. I'll continue on the Steve Gruber Show.